going to understand certain basics of genetics. In order to understand Mendelian genetics or any deviation from Mendelian genetics, these concepts are very important and without which you cannot follow any of the concepts further. So this is useful for ICSE 10th biology as well as 12th CBSE biology. So I'm making a common video for both. Alright, so let us understand all these concepts clearly so that we can understand the chapters. First, we'll understand what is meant by chromatin network, chromosome, and DNA. So, for that, what you need to understand is any cell, okay, in your body, any cell, if you take, it can be a skin cell, it can be a heart cell, it can be a brain cell, any cell, if you take, it will have a nucleus because we are all eukaryotic organisms. And inside the nucleus, you will find structures like this. What is this structure? What are you looking at right now? These are called as chromatin network. And this chromatin network is the structure that contains your DNA. And mind you, it is found in all the cells in your body. Alright. Now, when does this chromatin network, as you can see, it is a thread-like structure, right? And when does it become chromosome? And how does it become chromosome? So, first and foremost, normally 90% of the time, the cell would look like this, having a mass of cell fiber-like structures called as chromatin networks. Okay, and this, the moment the cell is about to divide or undergo division, this thread rearranges itself in this shape. You can see that it's the same thread. It rearranges itself in a condensed form called as chromosome. Now, where is the DNA found? DNA is nothing but this thread itself, and this DNA is not just rolled around, meaning it is not that this thread becomes in this shape. It, even if it tries to become, where is it trying to curl on? There has to be some bead-like structure on which this DNA is winding around, correct? And that round structure is called as protein. Alright, these proteins are called as histone proteins. What are they called as? Histone proteins. And the structure where DNA is wound around histone protein is called as nucleosome. Nucleosome. Coming to DNA. What are DNA? They are structures which contain something called as nucleotides, and this structure of DNA, if you take from this end to this end, whichever it is, the whole thing is not active. Certain parts of them are active. Let's say this part if I cut out, this part are active. Active meaning it can form certain proteins in our body. Alright, it can transcribe, we say, which we are going to cover later. So these parts which are active for on a DNA are called as genes. I hope this much is clear to you. What is meant by homologous chromosome, haploid and diploid number? Let us understand. So for that you should know that every organism has a constant number of chromosomes in their body cells. If you take any body cell from a human, whether the human is from India, Pakistan, China, anywhere, you should find that the total number of chromosome in the cell should be 46. Alright. And for a dog, it should be 78, housefly, it should be 12, and so on. So that is the chromosome number of that particular organism. When you look at this 46, I have put up the diagrammatic representation of chromosomes in human. Alright, and you can see that they are not numbered as 1 to 46. Instead, you will find that they are numbered as pairs. You can see pair number 1, pair number 2, pair number 3 up till 23. You can count and check. Okay, and you will find that all of them are shown in the form of pairs. Why in the form of pairs? We should know. Okay, so any organism you take, whether it is a multicellular organism or a unicellular eukaryotic organism, whatever the condition is, it has finally started becoming huge organism from the first cell, right? The first cell called as the zygote. Zygote has evolved from fusion of a sperm and an egg, correct? So whatever the zygote has is half of the chromosomes in zygote is from the sperm and the other half is from the egg, correct? So let's say take the first pair. Okay, this is the first pair of chromosomes. This one would have come from the sperm and the other one would have come from the egg. And the same thing repeats for the entire 23. Even on the 23rd set, that is the sex chromosome set, one would have come from the sperm, another one would have come from the egg, isn't it? So those pairs of chromosomes wherein one has come from the maternal side, maternal meaning from the mother. What mother? The egg cell. Okay, maternal, and the other from the paternal side. Paternal meaning father from the sperm. Those pairs are called as homologous chromosomes. So how many pairs of homologous chromosomes do we have? We have 23 pairs total, adding to 46 chromosomes. I hope that is clear. Now coming to haploid and diploid number. This is very simple. The total number of chromosomes in an organism is, in case of human, it is 46. In other organisms, it's different. 46 can be represented as 2n. Why 2n? Because all of them are in the form of pairs. 2 stands for the pair. How many pair? 23 pair. Right? So 22 multiplied by 23 is 46. So 2n represents the diploid number. So total number of chromosomes in the body cell of an organism is called as a diploid number. But in case of a sperm and an egg, either which formed the zygote or this zygote grew into the multicellular organism and that multicellular organism produced a sperm or an egg, whatever it is, the sperm and the egg will have only half the chromosome number as the total, and that we represent as n. And in case of human, n is equal to half of 46, which is 23. So that is clear, I hope. To understand the concepts gene, allele, dominant, recessive, homologous, homozygous, heterozygous and all that, first and foremost what you should know is when we talk about the chromosome and the gene on it, the entire chromosome, if you take, let's say this is one chromosome and it will have a buddy, we call that as its homologue, or both of them together we call as homologous chromosome. So let us say this has certain genes. What decides that a DNA is a gene? If the DNA codes for a protein, we call it as a gene. Okay. Now let's say there are 1 million genes on this, and same way 1 million genes will be there on this. We will take any one gene. We will think that it is present over here on the maternal chromosome. In that case, its pair, its friend, it will be present over here. Okay, so the same gene for hair color, okay, we'll take it to be gene for hair color is over here. Now there are, like I said, there are millions of genes. Let's say hair color, eye color is over here, and then its friend will be here. Okay, and so on. We are taking only one gene into consideration, and it is present over here. In this case of maternal, then same position will be there on the paternal chromosome also, and that position we call as loci, Loci. Okay, so gene is there, gene meaning the DNA which can code for a protein is over here. All right, that means it will have a similar gene on the other homologue also, and those genes which are the alternate forms are called as alleles. So what are alleles? Alleles are nothing but genes itself, two forms of the same gene or alternate forms of the same gene is called as allele. Okay, so on this maternal chromosome, let's say the gene is in the form of dominant, meaning if this gene is present, it only will express. If on the other chromosome also there is a gene which is not dominant is present, it means that it will not express itself. What is express itself? It will not show any effect. Alright. And this capital B and small b represents dominant and recessive genes. So I hope what is meant by allele is clear, and what is meant by dominant and recessive is clear. Dominant is the one that will express when two of them are present together. Recessive is the one which will hide itself in presence of a dominant gene. Okay, so what are alleles? Alleles are genes itself, two forms of the same gene. In this case, a dominant one. In this case, it's a recessive one. Is that the only possibility? Not really. Here it can be small b, and here also small b, one possibility. The same possibility will write down capital and small b. Then again, this can be capital and this can be also capital. So there are three different possibilities for the gene combinations, isn't it? And these are called as genotype. What is genotype? The genetic constitution. Genetically, how is it? That is called as a genotype. Okay. So what is genotype? Genotype is a genetic constitution for a particular organism. Now, what it shows, if it is capital B and B together, what will be shown in the progeny or what will be shown in the organism is called as phenotype. For example, hair color gene, if you take, this is a dominant gene which will give black color, let's say, and this is a recessive gene which will give brown color, let's say. Okay, so effect of this and this, whatever you get is called as a phenotype. In case of small b and b, it being the recessive one, it will be brown. Here, since a dominant gene is present, even though there is a brown allele, it will not express the dominant one, which is black, will express, correct? And here, both are capital, or in other words, dominant genes. So, we will get a black. All these are the phenotypes. Phenotypes are the how it is expressed in an organism. Alright. Now, what is meant by homozygous and heterozygous also? Let's understand. Looking at the genetic constitution, the genotype, when you look at, if you find both alleles are same, in this case, it is same. In this case also it's same. One small b, another small b. One capital B, another capital B. That means that they are homozygous. What is homozygous? When both alleles are same, we call that as homozygous. Now, in this case, it's not like that. One capital is there, one small is there. That means one dominant and one recessive have come together. In that case, we call that as heterozygous. I hope it is clear. Now, if you find all these videos useful, please subscribe to my channel, give a like to my video and share with your friends. If you have further more doubts in genetics concepts, please connect with me. I will help you out. Thank you.